Second, that was after free agency. There's no question free agency make teams better. Like Miami, by getting Tyreek Hill and Cedric Wilson, it's going to be a better team, right? They're going to be a better offense for Tua. And then now, 7 weeks later, I give you my post-draft and my post-schedule prediction for the NFL. I have the right to make several amendments. Our Constitution has 24, 26, something like that. I get some amendments. Here we go. This is my March 22nd NFL standing prediction. Let's start AFC. So initially I said Bills, Patriots, Dolphins, Jets. I'm going to flip that. Dolphins will leap the Patriots. Patriots go down to third. The Jets are an easy fourth. The Bills are an easy one. Why? I thought the Patriots had a pathetic draft. Belichick's calling offensive plays. And the truth of the matter is, I think the momentum in this division is with Buffalo and Miami. They have pivoted to an offensive franchise, and I think Tua is going to be... Listen, Tua beat him twice last year. Now he's got actual weapons. Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, nothing changes. I made another change in the AFC North. I had Bengals first, Browns fourth, because I don't know when Deshaun plays. I have flipped the Steelers and Ravens. Why? Hollywood Brown got moved. I do not like Baltimore's early schedule. In a 5-week period, late September to late October, they go to New England and then face Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson, and Tom Brady. They also end the season at Joe Burrow, and they face Denver. Pittsburgh doesn't face Denver. Yes, they faced Belichick and Brady early, both at home. I'll take the Steelers second, Ravens third. Also like the Steelers draft. And then in the South, no changes. I'm going to have the Colts, the Titans, the Texans, and the Jaguars. With no A.J. Brown, Tennessee becomes very Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry reliant. I don't like it. So I've got the Bills, Broncos, Bengals, Colts winning their divisions. In the NFC, a major change in the NFC East. I thought the Philadelphia Eagles had an exceptional draft weekend. I did not think the Cowboys or the Commanders did. So I have the Eagles going from third to first. Philadelphia wins the division. Commanders, again, I like Carson Wentz as an upgrade at quarterback and Ron Rivera. I do not see Dallas as a playoff team. I thought they had a weird draft with several reaches. Didn't answer the questions I wanted to. Giants are an easy pick for 4. I'm going to make another switch. I looked at San Francisco's schedule. I had it Rams, Niners, Cardinals, Seahawks. Rams, Seahawks, the easy choice. I think Arizona's made good moves. They're going to get the Kyler stuff wrapped up. It's all going to be good. He's going to get his money. And the Niners' schedule in the middle of the season is absolutely brutal. I also did not like San Francisco's draft. Vikings, Packers, Bears, Lions. That's my prediction early. I think Minnesota will be the most improved team in the NFL. Kirk Cousins, though limited, will get an offensive coach. I like their draft as well. Bucks, Saints, Panthers, Falcons. I feel stronger today about the Saints. I think the Saints' Jarvis Landry acquisition's a real one. I think they draft about as well as anybody in the NFC. So there you go. Major flip in the NFC East. Philadelphia had a great draft weekend. I like the way their schedule works out. I showed it to you yesterday. They only face 2 elite quarterbacks. They're spread out 8 weeks apart or close to that. There you go. All right. Cedric Ceballos played 11 years in the NBA. He is now a broadcaster in Phoenix and 9 years, a Pro Football Hall of Fame since 1992, Board of Selectors. So I was just talking about Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, and he'll never sell. It's his toy. Jeannie Buss has said she'll never sell the Lakers. It's the family, the crown jewel of the family. But I do believe NFL teams, along with English Premier League teams, are where the global's richest people want to put their money. What is your thought about the $10 billion price tag Jerry said the Cowboys are worth, Peter?
Unsurprising. And look, Forbes magazine came out a couple of months ago and said that their current value is $6.5 billion. Now, and that's the biggest among sports franchises. But there's a difference between the current value and what something would sell for.
That's right.
If it was on the open market.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'd get $10 billion. I mean, I don't doubt it, but I don't know that. All I know is there are a finite number of entities and products that are the Dallas Cowboys. that are the New York Yankees, that are whatever, the Los Angeles Lakers, whatever you would talk about, the Green Bay Packers. And the point is, when those entities go on the market, it's different than when the Carolina Panthers go on the market, okay? But the reason why I wanted to write about this week is that we're all just totally ignoring the fact that in the last 5 years, the value of an NFL franchise, because the Denver Broncos are going to sell for $4.5 billion, somewhere right around there. In the last 5 years, the franchise price of a team in the NFL, not one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the NFL, but a team, has gone up 100%. And now, so if the Denver Broncos are going to sell for $4.5 million, what makes you think that the most valuable entity, the most valuable sports franchise in the United States, wouldn't sell for double that? And that's why I think Jerry Jones, I don't know that he's right, but my guess is it would be somewhere between 8.5 and 10 billion.
Yeah. And by the way, the Clippers, the number 2 team in their own building, sold for $2 billion cash. People thought it was egregious, and they're now worth over $3 billion several years later. So I agree with you. I was looking at the schedule release, and the NFL's always done a great job with their calendar. They've moved free agency, so Joy and I now spend 3 weeks a year. We didn't spend March talking NFL. You were relaying a story before we went on the air. The NBA has done the best job to manipulate me as a broadcaster. They have manipulated me. They are now somewhere between 65 and 70% of my show. They were not 10 years ago. Some of that is the decline socially of baseball, which analytics has made it less, attractive to a lot of younger people, and I have young people watching. But you were talking about this during the break about the NFL was jealous of a league and did something about it.
I mean, the NFL, I started covering the NFL in 1984, the Cincinnati Bengals. And within about 10 years, they started maneuvering the schedule the exact same way. And they created a big window for free agency in March. Then they started going nuts with the draft and moved the draft later and later, and then started taking the draft on the road.
Yeah.
And when you have 600,000 people outside in Nashville, Tennessee, watching the draft live and going crazy. And so now, you have that. You have the schedule release. The NFL basically said, we are going to create a hot stove league that baseball has that we are jealous of.
Yeah.
We want to have an off season where we own the calendar. And the NFL has figured it all out. And Colin, very quietly, you know what they did last year? Do you remember last year, I think it was the last Saturday in July, they had the NFL training camp opening day in which NFL Network and ESPN went live from about, I'm guessing 15 to 18 training camps that day. And they had all their reporters fanned out, and they made it like the opening day of a season.
Yeah.
Hey, great, football's back. They created another tentpole event in late July when nobody is thinking about pro football.
Yeah, and there used to be kind of a gentleman's agreement in sports, like NBA owned Christmas. The NFL said,
not anymore.
Yeah, hell with that. We're going to put Aaron Rodgers on Christmas. It was so funny because I've always loved Christmas Day for the NBA. I told Joy the best day in American sports now is arguably Christmas Day. I get 3 NFL games, 3 or 4 NBA games. It's like it's a smorgasbord. It's as good a day as America has. And that's, again, the NFL saying, you know what? We gave the NBA that thing for 30 years. We gave them that day. No, we're gonna go head to head, and so it's a business. They get it. I want to ask you about this. Joy and I are if we're wrong with conviction and passion, but we can't figure something out, and it's really interesting. The Niners, Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance. There's multiple stories now from people I think know what they're talking about that they're having questions about Trey Lance. And it's Joy and I kept saying, why don't they let Jimmy G go after the season? Clear cap space. They need another corner. They need some interior linemen. They've got some needs here if they want to get past the Rams or Tampa. What do you make? Are they having second thoughts on Trey Lance, Peter? Because it certainly feels like it to me.
Well, I think you can either say that they're having second thoughts and I think it's more likely this is true, or that they couldn't get anything for Jimmy Garoppolo after he had his shoulder surgery. And so remember last year, toward the end, right about where we were on the calendar last year at this time, where Jed York came out and said, hey, listen, if Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't start, whatever happens, I'm comfortable paying the backup quarterback $24 million or whatever it was. And I think they're going to feel the same way this year because, listen, they got to the Final Four of the NFL last year, and you can say whatever you want about Jimmy Garoppolo and how they carried